Chair recognizes Ms. Lee.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I want to say that, what Republican policies right now are just hell bent on beating Americans down, not lifting them up. And what you all are attempting to do in DC right now is just a forecast for what they actually want for the entire country. And just first of all, before I even go any further, I just want to state that when we talk about solutions and solution-driven policy, this is just not it, right? This is nothing more than literally criminalizing homelessness. And when we talk about whether or not allowing somebody to stay in a tent who has nowhere else to go, whether or not it's moral or humane, well, the reality is that there's $150 million in HUD grants that would directly eradicate homelessness that's frozen, that is not being used, and the Trump administration is choosing to do that. We are not solving the problem. We're not asking ourselves at all right now on this committee, well, why are people experiencing homelessness? Well, let's think about it. And my colleague from Florida started to get into it. We are in a housing crisis. We know that. That isn't a DC thing. That's an American thing. It's all over the country. Wages have been stagnant for decades. Grocery prices have not come down. The student loan crisis is ballooning. Joblessness is at a high, and instead of addressing that there are more people seeking a job right now than there are jobs for them to get into, the president is firing the messenger because he doesn't ever want to deal with things just like the homeless crisis. He wants to sweep that also under the rug. And we also just saw the largest wealth transfer from the poor to the rich in the bill passed by Republicans. And this is all after Trump forced D.C. to clear out encampments and then shut down the Interagency Council on Homelessness. And your Republican Congressman's real, it's a crime to not have a home, but there won't be any resources to help you if you are experiencing homelessness. You're gonna just be charged and fined and imprisoned, and it's gonna make your life harder. Trump and Republicans are treating people like they're subhuman, people at their lowest, and many of these folks are veterans that served this country. It's callous and it's evil. Criminalization does not end homelessness. This is lazy and dishonest policymaking. We have solutions for the homelessness crisis in this country. Republicans are just refusing to implement them because they don't believe that the cost is worth it. They don't believe it's worth pulling you out of poverty. They don't believe it's worth educating folks in the district. They don't believe it's worth feeding folks in the district. That's why they cut SNAP. They don't believe it's worth you being healthy. That's why they cut Medicaid. They would rather fine and jail you. They'd rather criminalize you and make your lives even harder, perpetuating these cycles of poverty and inequality. Criminalizing homelessness actually just makes the problem worse, according to research, not just me, research. Each move-along order or encampment eviction contributes to further marginalization. It perpetuates these cycles of harm. Research shows that when people experiencing homelessness are forced to spend time in jail, they're often released with nowhere to stay. They are often poor due to loss of possessions, and they may be in worse physical health. Jail time can also disrupt access to public benefits, to shelter, and other resources. Even when detained temporarily, people experiencing homelessness have lost their jobs, their vehicles, their licenses, the very things that can bring them out of the cycle. And when you hold people on cash bail, like the other bill that's up today proposes to do, they lose all of that before they've even been convicted of a crime. This is what we're seeing, going to see in D.C. Right now, the district has worked to increase their shelter capacity, but it's only a Band-Aid on the problem because the Trump administration has failed to coordinate any federal resources to help find a permanent, long-term housing solution or address the root causes. D.C. is already so inaccessible due to the insanely high rent. Thriving Black and brown communities have been pushed aside and priced out so that wealthy developers can make a larger profit and Congress people can feel more comfortable. Right now, the average rent for a one-bedroom apartment in D.C. is $2,300 per month, and the cost of living is 40% higher than the national average. How are people supposed to afford houses here? This committee doesn't want to end homelessness because if they did, they would be empowering the district with a budget and the resources to tackle the problems themselves. They'd be working to hold developers accountable, raising the minimum wage, expanding mental health care, veteran support, passing Medicare for all, but instead, They're here stripping away these folks' opportunities to govern themselves. And we still have not passed the $1 billion budget fix in D.C. This bill, along with Trump's executive order, punishes people for simply existing. It's not the way that the American people should be treated, or especially the people in D.C. I urge my colleagues to oppose it, and I yield back.
Ms. Lee, would you yield to a question?
I don't have any time.
Okay. I'm pretty lenient. I'm just wondering.
Colleagues on the Democratic side, keep that in mind. He's very lenient.
Did Washington, D.C. have a homeless problem when Joe Biden was president and
The United States has had a homeless problem in and out of administrations. This whole thing pretending that it's a Democrat or a Republican bill, but let me tell you, when President Biden was the president, we had a Republican majority in the House. We have a trifecta with Republicans right now. You all have the opportunity to do something different. You know the solutions that exist. And I'm wondering, when will you propose them? It's Trump now. Will you propose them now?
No.
No, you won't.
No,
Thank you.
no.
Chairman,
Listen.
since you're being lenient, Chairman, can I ask a question of the gentlelady?
No.